In this video, we're going to be checking out the all-new most recent Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian figure, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that I think this figure is actually maybe better than the SH Figuarts. So this is the latest Mandalorian figure from Black Series. Yes, even newer than this one. I actually think this one's really cool, by the way. But anyway, yeah, this is the newest one, and I think this is gonna be a pretty big deal. Like, I'm actually being serious here. When I first saw this figure get revealed, I did a pretty audible whoa, especially just seeing the product images and the poses that this figure was able to get in. Not only did the proportions look incredible, but the poses, and there's a cloth cape. I think this is gonna be one of the best Black Series figures ever, and I'm really curious to see if it's gonna actually stand up to the SH Figuarts one that just came out. So let's just get into this and open this thing up. So as always, this guy, if you wanna pick him up, head to the Entertainment Earth link I have in the video description and use my discount too to save yourself some cash. Definitely do that if you wanna pick this guy up. So I really am legitimately curious to see if this is gonna stand up to the SH Figuarts one. $30 versus $100. I don't know, that's pretty crazy. I just did a whole video on that Figuarts one, so this is pretty relevant for me. And man, I'm pumped. I'm very excited for a new Black Series Mando. Wow, this is one of the best Black Series I've ever seen. The proportions on him, I think, are like perfect. Like, look at this. This is, at first glance, you will see this and be like, wow, this is Black Series? Nice. Really nice. Like, it looks really good. Like, the way the cape is tucked under the chest plate looks great. The shoulder pads are thick. You know, he looks like an adult in armor. So often when I see Black Series in armor, I feel like they're just really tall, lanky teenage boys in armor. Like, that's, and I love Black Series, but so often I feel like that happens, and that is not what it looks like here. It looks like Mando. The helmet sculpt is totally brand new and looks good. It's big, you know, it fits the shoulders and everything he's got going on here. Just, he looks really good. And look at this cape. It's like a stretchy material. Like, this is the nicest looking soft goods I've seen on a Black Series 2. Usually they're a little bit cheaper feeling than that. Okay, so here he is with the Darksaber and the jetpack on. Put him in a little bit more natural pose. Man, he really looks like Mando. I'm so incredibly impressed with the proportions on here. And one thing that kind of is a little poopy is he doesn't come with a blaster at all. Like, it's just the Darksaber. And you know what? I've got enough Mando blasters, so that's fine. But just a kind of a little bit of a weird thing, you know, no blaster with Mando. Okay, I just realized I'm a total dummy, and yeah, this comes with a blaster and it comes with a vibro blade in here, and I threw away the package before I even had a chance to take it out. Come on. So yeah, sorry about that. My dumb self forgot there was stuff in the package. So yeah, we got the blaster and we've got Mando's vibro blade. And the reason why I thought of it was because I saw his blaster holster and I was like, wait a second. So here's a comparison to the new one and the very first Mandalorian Black Series that ever came out. Yes, this one does have a custom cape, but it's a crappy custom cape made by me. He used to have, you know, the chunky plastic chunk of cape. But so let's just compare and look at these two. This looks like a toy Mandalorian. This looks like a miniature version of the character from the show. Like, am I right? Like, that's crazy. See what I mean by the tall, lanky teenager in a costume? That's what this looks like. This doesn't. This looks like a mini version of Mando. Like, that is so cool. Let's just do a quick comparison of the helmet. It's so crazy. There's so much more depth to this one. Light bounces off of it so much more. This one kind of looks like he's squinting a little bit. You know, isn't that kind of weird? Like, you can definitely see the more wideness to the T-visor here, which looks good. And it's crazy too how it looks more expressive. You know what I mean? Like, this one looks more expressive. Like, it looks like more of a person. And like, this one has tons of movement in the neck, which definitely lends a hand to making it look more expressive, I think. Man, crazy. They've come a long way. There was a pose with this guy in the product imaging that's one of the things that made me really impressed by it. So I'm gonna try and put it in that pose and see if we can make it look good. So here's the pose. I think it's close enough to what's on there, and I think it's a cool pose, so thanks for the inspiration to the photographer. or whoever, whatever, but this figure looks so good. I'm so impressed. Look how photogenic, the way the light's bouncing off. Just amazing. Okay, here's the moment of truth. This is the comparison between the Black Series and the Figuarts. Do I dare say, when you first look at these, the proportions on the Black Series, they kind of look better. Is it just me? Or is that really the case? That's crazy. First thing you notice is the helmet is bigger. And so that's funny because I don't think this helmet on the Figuarts looks small at all, especially when I have it by itself, but it's noticeably smaller than this, and I don't think either one looks bad. I do think when you compare them though, this one does look off. This one doesn't, but on their own, they both look fantastic. I don't think this one is too small. Just by the proportions alone, it's kind of hard to say that the Black Series one doesn't look better. I don't know, what do you think? That's crazy. So I'm not gonna go ahead and say that Okay, so I'm not gonna go ahead and say the Black Series one is better than the Figuarts, because I don't think it is. There's a lot of things about the Figuarts one, like the wired cape, the more joints, and a lot of things like that that make this more expensive for sure, and it's worth it, I believe. I definitely think this one looks just as good at first glance. You can put the Figuarts one in more natural poses. The plastic definitely feels a little bit better for sure. There's a lot of things about the Figuarts that are always gonna be more premium and high quality and more expensive, and that's just the way it is, and that's totally okay. But if you're just looking for a really good Mando figure that's under $50 and it looks good and it'll do what you need for it, just get the Black Series, man. Like it really is quite incredible. I'm so impressed with this. Hasbro, I knew you were great all along. See, I knew it, and I love you. I'm so incredibly curious to hear your comments below. Please actually leave me a comment and tell me what you think. If you have these, I really am excited to hear what you think about this. But you know, it's a shooting and reviewing video, so I definitely got to take a picture with this new Black Series figure. So I'm gonna get something set up really cool and take a shot. Whew, it is chilly out, but I've got a great shot going on here, and I'm keeping it to the totally Black Series theme. Nothing but Black Series figures. So let's see what I've got going on. Okay, so, well, we've got Mando, here he is, and we've got the OG Black Series Grogu. Yeah, brought him out. They're both casually standing around amongst a bunch of freshly slaughtered stormtroopers, and they're just kind of looking at each other, and Grogu's shrugging, and it's just a nice father-son moment, you know? Basically, it's pretty simple. Very simple pose with Mando. A bunch of dead stormtroopers scattered very meticulously. And I'm gonna dump some water around so there's like some nice reflection, but I'm gonna use some sparkler. This is the sparkler that I love to use. That's a long one, and it shoots out lots of sparks, and I can just kind of hang it above and watch all the sparks fall and just make some cool atmosphere and make it, I don't know, look awesome. It's a very cloudy, overcast day, so there's a bunch of just soft lighting bouncing around everything, so I don't need a ton of light. But what I am gonna do is put one of my Loom Cubes over here right behind so I can get some nice backlit stuff going on. Here are my settings, nothing crazy. ISO is at 400 as always. My f-stop is at 3.2, still pretty low, but I wanted to open it up a little bit so I can get some more troopers that are still kind of in focus in there. I have my shutter speed at 1/500. I have it a little bit fast because I am dealing with sparks here, and I don't want them to be super motion blurred. So 500's fast enough, and with the way everything works out, the lighting is good. You know, it's not too dark or anything like that, so. And of course, all the gear I'm using, the cameras, the lights, everything, tripods, it's all linked in the description. I've got it all down there if you're interested in any of that stuff. So make sure to head down there if you're curious. I am going to dump the water out, and I'm going to take my sparkler, light it, and I'm gonna take a ton of photos with sparks all over the place, and I'm going to put them all together in Photoshop. And if you're interested in how I do that editing process, I have a bunch of videos that do explain it. So I'll have those linked right here and in the description as well. And if you're watching this video from just an action figure review standpoint, and you're seeing this and you're like, this is pretty cool, my entire channel is dedicated to toy photography. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, you want to get started, take a look. There's plenty of stuff on there, a lot of stuff on there to get started and to go and do all this stuff. Okay, now let's go and take the photo. man, Black Series did such a good job with this figure, and the fact that it's even in the same conversation with Figuarts is massively impressive, and I'm really curious to hear what you think, which figure is better. But I do hope you enjoyed the video and it was helpful with your figure decision-making process. Either way, thank you so much for watching, and if you did enjoy it, please consider liking the video, consider subscribing, that would be amazing. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you again for watching. You guys are awesome.